This is Steve Zeltzer with WorkWeek and Pacifica, and we're going to cover today the struggle in the Teamsters Union, critical struggle over democracy, over worker rights, and also the effort by the Teamster leadership, Sean O'Brien, to shut down a rank and file platform, Teamster Link, and how he's using a union busting law firm to do that. So joining us today is Tom Leedham, who is also a longtime Teamster and since 1977, and also ran against Hoffa in 2006 and was supported by the TDU. Welcome.
About a year ago, myself, Bill Zimmerman, Tim Sylvester, longtime Teamster reformers, officers, all of us have been officers for many years. We set up a website forum, an open forum, and the idea was just to give members an opportunity to voice their opinion on whatever subject related to the Teamsters it might be. And we don't care if they're far left or far right, if they're Teamsters and they have ideas and they have opinions. This is a forum for them to express those views. And we started, like I say, about a year ago, a little over a year. And we slowly, started to gain traction and got more members involved. And as we went, members were posting about, various controversies in the union. The UPS contract campaign was a big topic. But there were a lot of things, a lot of situations in the union that members wanted to expose what's happening. And for example, when the International took credit, when Sean O'Brien took credit for organizing 206,000 new members into the Teamsters, we thought, wait a minute, that just doesn't make sense. And we did a thorough analysis of those numbers and found that it wasn't 206,000 new members, it was more like 250 new members. So we did an expose report on that. And in fact, the International was forced to revise their LM2s to reflect the accurate numbers. Additionally, there were other issues that came up. Various contract campaigns, situations, for example, where the International had made a settlement of a race discrimination case, costing the union $2.9 million. We talked about that on the site. And people, it was just open. People could talk about whatever they wanted to, as long as it was related to the Teamsters. We also set some pretty good rules on how people would, communicate on the site and so forth. And while a lot of people thought, well, it's you can register anonymously, people don't know who's there. That's actually been a real benefit, because in the Teamsters right now, retaliation is fast and furious. So to have a place where people could anonymously post information without fear of retaliation was extremely important, and it was a really popular concept. And over the last year, we've continued to grow and grow. And finally, around toward the end of January, we received a letter from Fred Zuckerman, the General Secretary Treasurer, claiming that we were in violation of their trademark rights. There was a cease and desist letter to stop Teamster Link. And I have to say, when we got the first letter from Zuckerman, we took it seriously, but we were aware that this had been happening for a long time, that local unions get the same letter when they modify the logo or when they modify the trademark in any way. And so we thought it's a normal, it's just a normal thing, because we'd seen that before as officers of the union. But then when we got a letter from Nixon Peabody, this notoriously anti-union law firm, they literally brag about their union avoidance programs on their website. And some of the unions that they've challenged are actually the Teamsters. And we got a letter from them on behalf of the International, threatening lawsuits and demanding that we cease and desist and take our site down. Well, we took that very seriously, because if the union is willing to use members' dues to shut down a Teamster free speech website, we cannot match those resources. So when we got that letter from Nixon Peabody, we decided we better go to a plan B. And we started developing tunionlink.org as a new site to take the place of Teamster Link. So it's t-unionlink.org. And we started building that, and we got a second letter from Nixon Peabody, and they told us that they would be sending us an agreement that would resolve the matter. Now, we knew that any document that came from these union busters was not going to be something that we could agree to. So we began to really pour it on and work hard to get a new site in place. And it's a good thing we did, because while they were claiming that they were going to send us an agreement, they weren't doing that at all. What they were doing was they had 4 other lawyers from the firm going to Apple to try to get them to take down our app. They did the same with Google. And they went to Facebook, and Facebook removed our Facebook page. Now, we were fairly new to Facebook. We only had about 1,200 followers. We were just getting started, so it wasn't that big a deal. But we were shocked at their ability to just close down a Facebook page, and that's what they did. So we had talked to 3 lawyers, and so we knew that we were on solid ground as far as our case. But the fact is, they all told us, you've got a winning case, but it's going to cost you a minimum of $100,000 to litigate it. And clearly that's worth 3 retirees. We don't have those kind of resources. So we put T-Union Link in place, and we were able to do that just prior to them getting an injunction to shut us down, which they were unable to do. So we moved everything over to T-Union Link. And I have to say, since then, and since this whole controversy has started, our membership has really grown dramatically. This is an important place for Teamsters to communicate with each other. We think it should be that there should be sites like this, forum sites, open forum sites like this in every labor union. Without it, there's really no way to voice an opinion, to respond to the officers, to respond to policy. So this has been a really an important site, and it continues to grow.
This issue of, I mean, the union busting law firm has actually been used against the Teamsters in Teamster organizing. The idea that you would hire a union busting law firm, and also that's now combined with what's gone on with the IBT and Sean O'Brien inviting Donald Trump to their Teamster headquarters, where he gave a press conference attacking, bashing immigrants in the lobby of the Teamsters, and voting to give $45,000 to the Republican National Committee, which apparently is now going to be used for Donald Trump's legal fees. What does that say to Teamsters about what is going on in this union? I mean, it seems that the rise of fascism, particularly in this country, the dangers, the racism, racist attacks, the attacks against immigrants, to have any support for somebody who espouses that raises real questions about where the Teamsters are going. Are you concerned about that, Tom?
Well, I'm very concerned about it. In regard to Sean O'Brien in Mar-a-Lago, I just think that's a total embarrassment to the Teamsters, I think to the entire labor movement. There's no doubt that we have a large percentage of union members that support Trump, and clearly that's their right to do so. When you look at labor issues, though, if you look at just exclusively on labor issues, I don't think anyone would say that Trump has been pro-union ever in his existence. Has he been pro-union? And we have a responsibility to educate members on who helps unions and who hurts unions. We can't just govern our union by Gallup poll. That doesn't work. We have a responsibility where, as officers of the union, we know who operates in our best interest, which of the candidates is operating in our best interest. And that's what we need to focus on. And we need to make sure that every union member, every Teamster knows who's on our side and who isn't.
And the invite by labor notes and TDU to go at the labor notes convention, there are probably going to be 4,500, maybe 5,000 trade union activists from around the country and internationally. Sean O'Brien has been invited to speak at that conference at the TDU and also to come to the labor notes convention. What does that say about labor notes? It seems like, are they listening to what's going on? Are they paying attention to what Sean O'Brien is doing in relationship to Trump, in relationship to hiring this union busting law firm?
Yeah, if I might say, this is to me is the biggest disappointment throughout all of this, is how easily it's been for Sean O'Brien to morph into a reformer. I mean, with a long history, I just don't understand how the left media, media in general, but the left media in particular, which knows better, has just ignored his history and has ignored the current developments. There's absolutely no critical thinking on the left in regard to what's happening at the Teamsters at all. No one questions anything.